Oh,
Hello, everyone.
I
Welcome to week 3. Um, I have to say, this season continues to provide. Um, I'm very pleased. Don't get me wrong. Is it the most active season we've had? No. But is that a bad thing? No, because I am perfectly content with the amount of activity that my phone is getting.
I
Maybe it
was,
could be a little more.
I was gonna say I would say it's pretty up there. I think though. Real, I see a lot of these people's names on my phone a lot.
Yeah, like people exactly. Like people are definitely texting every day. They're talking to people. It's just not a nonstop. People aren't talking for the sake of talking, which I appreciate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Mm.
good. I'm able to balance my life. They're able to balance theirs. The game is still able to be interesting, and we're all gonna have a merry time. Yay, that. Um, this week, Fletcher won head of household. We did not know that at the time of the last rankings. It definitely was, I think, a crucial win for him. I think he could have been up on the bat. So good thing that he won some power to, take a shot at the people that were coming after him. Oh, wait, no, he didn't, and he made a dumb move. Um, all to be unpacked here soon. We did say goodbye to Chloe, um, who, with all the peace and love in the world, providing the most this season? No. But entertaining for when she was here. Happy she played. Um, and we'll dive on into it. For the most part, as a prediction, or not even a prediction, I know what my scores are. Scores are gonna. This is gonna be a pretty low scoring week, except for a few people who are gonna be very high scoring for me. So I think this season is beginning to. I don't know. I can predict where it's going, and we'll see if it stays that way. Because sometimes there's a switch up, but I don't know. I feel like we're going down a path, and the path is clear to me. But we'll see. Steven, thoughts?
I agree. I mean, out of all the seasons, I wouldn't say this is like the most unpredictable one, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, that I could be proven wrong. Um, but we'll see. Let's dive into it. These are last week's rankings.
Yes,
Let's
these are the
unslide.
positions. So coming out of last week, Jason was in the number 1 position with a 7 average score, followed by Alex and Emily up there in the green. Mads was, of course, last as she is no longer here with us. Caden, Jackson, Kayla bringing up the rear. Alrighty,
Yeah,
let's see where people fall tonight. Starting with Alex.
good one to start with.
Yes, so when I said that a lot of my scores would be dropping down this week, with the exception of like a few really high scores, really high score right here, starting right off the bat. In my opinion, the my prediction for the season is it's Alex's season to lose. Like
Hmm.
she's just running circles around everybody and nobody. Like people are starting to catch on. Like and actually let me rephrase that. Multiple people have said it this week. Luke was like, wow, Alex just flipped this whole vote in a second. Jackson is like, okay, Alex is more in it than I thought. Faven is like, Joe, when are we going to start looking at Alex? The problem is like none of them, like, I feel like if you're noticing these things, you need to do something about it immediately and you need to actively do something. Otherwise, the game's going to like pass you by and all of a sudden you're going to be in the final four with Alex and there's nothing you can do about it. And granted, it's the final 14, so like so much can happen. But I don't see anyone making any active strides towards taking out Alex right now. And she just ran circles around everybody this week. I'm very impressed. And wow, I'm very impressed with her gameplay. Whereas before, I was like, oh, I hate that she's just ratting everything out to the BB Snap group and just turning on Caden and Fletcher. This week, she's really proven to me, at least, that like she wants to break up Caden and Fletcher, but she's also not telling everything to BB Snap, and she wants to see someone like Faven go soon. And she also wants to take out a middle like she sees the path where it's like we take out a person here, and then we take out a person here, and then we give this info here, and that's really smart. I was at a 6 in week 1, and I went up to a 7 in week 2, feeling good about her gameplay. I'm going up again, and I'm giving Alex the first 8 of the season for
Yeah,
me. And I really hope that it continues to go up because, again, I really think that it's her game to lose right now. Granted, Final 14 again, but still, she's killing it. It is an 8 from me.
Yeah, Alex, I agree with you. I think Alex, this is, I mean, saying it's her game to lose at this point, it is, I think, a little bold, but I don't think it's necessarily false. Um, I'm always a proponent of the mantra that so much can happen in a short period of time. So I don't want to say that like she's absolutely winning the game, but she is very much setting herself up in a good spot. Um, I worry for her a little bit eventually that this could she could kind of get caught between all these different things. I think she's being a little precarious right now. But for now, like she's this weekend last, like she's just been kind of playing everyone, which is really impressive. So I'm gonna go up to an 8 as well. I think this is very well deserved for Alex, and I can't wait to see what happens with her.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I mean, and we'll get into it with the next person, but like, actually, no, I'll wait till we get in it with the next people because there's so much to talk about. But yeah, Alex is killing it, and we'll see if anyone catches on.
Here we go.
That's what I say to Alex.
Mm.
Here's what I say to Caden. Bro, what the fuck?
Moving on.
Man, Caden, bad, stupid, stupid. Angry Scott's back. Caden will not be the only person receiving this energy from me, but my God, Alex is just running circles around you. And like, you just think that you have such a good read on the game and you don't. It's the opposite of a good read. For those that don't know, that is a bad read, a very, very bad read on what's going on. Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And I just don't get it. Literally, and
Yeah.
this is actually no, I'll fault Fletcher more for this, which when we'll get to him. But I'm like, you, I don't know, literally, why, Caden, when your target on the hit list is Joe, when you know that Joe is a gaslighting big threat, do you say in your diary room, we can take out Joe anytime? I don't know if we're gonna have another shot to separate Chloe and Caroline. Possibly, that's like saying like I don't know if we're gonna be able to separate heaven and hell. It's like they're already very separate, very like not gonna be a problem. There, no problem there. Like I'm just like, oi, this was such a wrong move, such a bad wrong move. And I think moving into next week, he is the number one target. You know why? Because Alex has decided that he's the one that she wants out next. And so far, Alex has gotten her way every week. Um, Here's the good news for him. As of how this comp is going so far, I do think it's likely that he wins HOH. I think he's going to be our next HOH, which is going to be super interesting to see what wrong move he makes next. But I can't take that into account. So unfortunately, because I like Caden, but this was not it, Caden. And for being the number one target moving into next week, I will be lowering my score down to a 3 because this was bad. And that's my thoughts, Stephen.
Yeah, I don't think he had a great week. I think that like I think we have a lot of people to talk about the debacle of choosing to get rid of Chloe slash Caroline over Joe. And honestly, when Alex won the veto, there was no way Alex was not going to end up using the veto on Joe. But I don't think separating Chloe and Caroline was necessarily like the right move if there was an open seat on the block. Um,
He was just manipulated so badly into like thinking that not only that this was his idea, but a good one. Like
and,
it was crazy.
and this is the second week in a row that this is like he's just being played like a fool. Um, but I'm gonna stick with my 4 because I think that I don't know if Alex's plan for Caden to go would necessarily be like the absolute best thing for her. And I don't know if she'll end up following through with it. Even though I know she's laid out that intention. I'm gonna stick with my 4 because I don't think he's in a 3 position right now. And that is a 3-5
Mhm.
for our lovely friend Caden, who has seen his line drop very much since the first week. But 6 to 3.5 in 2 weeks. Not great.
Tragic, even.
Caroline.
Caroline. I've been saying this all week. Caroline, more like icon.
You're supposed to say it for 2 things that sound similar.
Oh, okay.
Caroline more like Queen Aline.
Caroline, more like iconic Caroline.
Caroline more like Ken Aline with anyone if she tried because she's an icon.
Oh, that's good. Except she's not trying. So yes, here's the thing. Caroline, like, I'll say it one more time. Icon. Love her. Great at comms. Great spirit. Good at talking to, like, better at talking to people than Chloe was. I think people do really like her. I feel like she's gotten out of the trouble of like whatever last week
Oh
was.
shit. I have to send a thing. I forgot.
Um, was the target this week. Really dumb on Fletcher's part because I think Caroline really trusted Fletcher and so did Chloe. Um, but she stayed 10-1. People, I think, like now that Chloe's gone, what I think we're gonna see happen is like now that Chloe's gone, I feel like there's not a huge reason for people to go after Caroline. In
Thank
the future, if
you.
Caden or Fletcher leaves, I think the other one's gonna be okay for a while. Um, Stuff like that. So this week, Chloe leaving, not great for her. Her being back up on the block, not great for her. Could it have been worse? Absolutely. So I am going to be lowering my score because she was on the block. She lost an ally, but I'm going to give a bit of grace because I think she'll be fine for a while. And I'm hoping the best for her because she deserves it. So I'm going to be giving Caroline a 4 this week.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Caroline reminds me a lot of how I felt about Kate Carvelis. And I love Kate.
Yes.
I just hope, like, I hope, unlike Kate, she doesn't like give up towards the end. Like, I want her to get to the end and
No, but Kate didn't give up.
like in the final 2, she like gave up.
Well, yeah, the final 2 is bad. We don't talk about the finale. Season 12, worst finale of all finales. To
It's
put that on the record.
season 11 is not far behind. With the never mind. People will be watching this. Um, uh,
Um,
but yeah, I remind myself. It reminds me of a lot how I felt about Kate. Um, and Kate went really far, but Kate didn't own what she did in the end. Even though, like looking back, she did quite a bit. She did a little bit. So I'm hoping I can see Caroline on that same path, but I just hope she doesn't get burnt out by the end of it. I hope she sticks with it. Um, Hopefully she stops being nominated. I really like her, and I really don't want to see her go pre-jury.
I was gonna say I want her to stick around. I'm not holding my breath to see her in the finale right now,
No,
but we'll see.
I am not either. But we'll see. So 4 for Caroline, but I wanted to go up because I like Caroline a lot. 4. Mm. And she started in second to last. And she probably will not be second to last this week.
Today? Eh,
Maybe. Maybe she will.
maybe third to last.
And she won't be solely second to last.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, next up is Connor. Uh, mm,
Connor's been talked about going on the block every single time someone had to be nominated.
okay, yeah, and that's
That's not
just
good.
to talk about like some meta in the game, like what's good. Being tossed around as a nominee every week,
Not good.
bad. Very bad. Maybe even like one of the worst things that could be happening for you.
Sure.
Um,
It was like that time that I was like, Darby didn't have a really good week this week, and it was like the week that she got evicted. Well, like came back.
Yeah.
She was
Um,
literally evicted.
yeah, so like Connor, it's weird because he's simultaneously someone that people are like, oh yeah, I've got Connor. But then somehow he's always like barely surviving. And his name is not brought up as someone to like bring into an alliance or work with, like ever. So it's just weird. Um, Unfortunately, like I feel like the people that he is good with, I can count truthfully like three people that I think really care about him in the game. Those people are, or I can count Faven and Joe. Those are two. And like Kayla's a third, but in all honesty, like I don't know, like Kayla really caring about Connor, like that's a slim sliver of the slim sliver that Kayla's giving to the rest of the game right now. No tea, but tea.
But T.
So like it could like Connor could be doing worse, but like could be doing better. Could be doing better. Um, my score's tough because I was considering moving up to a 5. I was. But judging by the fact that he's still in no alliances, many people find him extendable, and he was very close to going up on the block again, I don't feel like I can justify it. So I'm going to stay at my 4 and say, Connor, I hope it gets better for you.
I'm also gonna stand by for him to say, Connor, good luck. Because I also like Connor. I don't want Connor to be evicted, but he's not really helping himself at in that sense. So I have to stand for him. And he was talking about being nominated this week. Next to Caroline, he probably would have stayed, I think. Um, but on the block, uh, probably could be. But people are already talking about him going on the block this week. So 4.
Next up. Oh,
No,
no, wait.
no,
Let's
shut
look.
up.
We have to look.
Okay, look. Ooh, Google Colors.
Hmm.
Now we have to get Fletcher in there, which we might.
Don't worry. I think he's on his way right there.
Emily.
Emily. Um, Emily, more like Emily. BB comic name drop right there.
Midley.
More like midly. Um, no, listen. Emily is doing a fine job. She's doing better than most, if I'm being quite honest.
Yeah.
And she still is doing better than most. Here's the thing though. She could be doing great. And you know, here's
But I don't want to be doing great.
here's me holding Emily's game. Uh-oh, it's slipping through my fingers.
Your fingers?
It's a metaphor. The metaphor. She,
It's like the burning ship and then the
yes, exactly. No, and the cotton
so many
submarine. Yes,
metaphors
yes,
this
yes, yes,
season.
yes. Um, Emily had the opportunity to have the BB Snap 6, to have the Brittany Broski 4, to have the Suspicious 6, and have literally allies on all sides of the house. With peace and love. With peace and love. She's done such a shit job at upkeeping her relationships. Oh, it's like she'll text in her diary room where she was like last week, she was like, I feel closest with Caroline, Chloe, and Jason. And I'm like, great. Love that you know that. Love that you know to like prioritize them. But you still need to upkeep the other ones so that they don't fall away. The BB Snap 6, because she like stopped texting in them, they formed a 4 without her. Uh-oh. Um, then this week, she's now really invested in Fletcher and Caden. And spoiler alert, not the people you want to be associated with right now. And now people are associating her as their third, which isn't great. People are starting to talk about like, okay, Emily like could go soon. We don't really need her anymore. And her positioning is just like slowly slipping away. And like she easily could make it not be that. Boo-hoo. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling on Emily. In a fine spot, but it is quickly becoming a precarious one. I am lowering my score to a 5. Not too bad, but we got to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, I'm also at a 5 for Emily. I think that yeah, I think that she could be placing herself in such a stronger position. But I agree. Like I feel like I was so high on her last week, as far as high as a 6 can go, and I just don't feel that way right now. But I do feel like she is funny enough with a 5, like above median for players right now.
Oh, a 5 is going to be in the upper half of this rankings.
So I'm a 5 for Emily, and I am team Emily
Nice.
because I love them. I think she's so fun. All right. Wow, everybody's going down. It's for Alex. Faven.
Amen. Yeah. Um, Faven. Okay. I like starting being positive. So here's the positive things. Faven, fun, entertaining, love her, hope to be someone to keep in touch with. Like very like she's someone from like after like watching play the game and like talking to her a little bit. I'm like, oh, I hope we're friends after this. Because Faven's awesome. Now her gameplay right now is not to be desired. And that's okay. She's here for entertainment, it seems. And we love that. But she's like here for entertainment, but also like wants to make it. Like doesn't want to like go home tomorrow, you know? So it's like, well, Faith, we need to balance that. And after the, I'll say, horrible move we did last week, where we didn't, or not only did we not tell anyone that we were going to use the veto, but we actively told them we were not going to. We decided this week to say no words. No words for Faven. It was like the very end of today. She popped back in and she was like, hey, I'm here. Sorry, holidays are busy. It's been a rough week. And totally get it. You don't need to be fully invested all the time. Wishing her the best. But she definitely started to slip on people's radars. What's funny is when she did pop back in, bless Fletcher and Kaden, bless them so much. Fletcher and Kaden were like, oh, she's talking. So we still have her as an ally. Good. We don't need to. I'm like, oh my God. It's not okay. That's fine. She said one word in the suspicious text, and they're like, oh, so it's still a group. It's fine. She's in the it's the alliance still. And I'm like, okay. Um, what's funny, and this is interesting. At the very end of this week, leading up to the vote, her and Joe were talking, and she, I think, pulled the biggest no that you can in this game right now. And that biggest no in the game is saying the following words. So when should we target Alex? Because that info went straight to Alex, and Alex said, great, Faven can go pre-jury. And I was like, oh, sooner than I thought she'd be going. Based on the plan that Alex has laid out, it would be Hayden or Fletcher going this next week. And then the next two boots would be some combination of Faven, Emily, or like a middle random person, like a Kayla, like a Isabel, someone like that. So not great. And yeah, I was at a 5 for Faven last week, and I'm really in between. I won't lie, I don't think she's in any. Oh, I don't know. You give your score first. I just don't know if I'm
Yeah.
staying at my 5 or going to 4.
I was at a 4 last week. I'm staying at my 4. Um, I also understand the fact of not saying much, but I feel like not saying much off of a week where you just blindsided the entire house.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Um, not to mention the whole Alex thing. But Faven is someone that I could see being scrappier, and like if is targeted pre-jury, I think she could swing it like in her favor. But I'm gonna stay at my 4.
Because I think she's gonna go balls to the walls. Like I don't think she is all too concerned about like if she goes up, she'll be like, great, time to stay until tomorrow, not great, time to stay until tomorrow while also making sure I'm set up to make it X, Y. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I think she's an in the moment type of player, which is fun. It's entertaining. I'm so torn back and forth. I think based off of who I have at fours and who I'm going to have at fours, I am going to stay at my five for Faven, but it's certainly a low five. And we'll see where it goes. I hope it rises because I love Faven so much, but yeah, I don't see very good things right now.
Awesome. Fletcher.
King. I
He just like got played this week. Like that.
He's so gullible. It's crazy. It's crazy. Literally, like this is what happened. This is an actual thing that he said. After all this went down, and he learned from Jackson that Alex went around and told everyone that she was voting out Chloe and that they should do the same. After Jackson told him that Alex flipped the vote, do you know what Fletcher's did? He said, wow, Alex, that was so smart of you to tell people that you were going to vote out Chloe when it was actually Caroline, because now that some people have decided to flip the vote, you're not going to be on the outs because it looked like you were doing this the whole time. And Alex was like, for sure. Uh huh. And it's like, oh, dear God. It should be. And okay, this is going to sound a little mean for a second, just for 1 second. Let's start with positive. Fletcher's super fun. Now let's get in a little negative. If Fletcher and Caden had maybe two brain cells, it should be clear as day that Alex is playing them, in my opinion. Sorry. Um, Alex is doing a good job at hiding it to her credit. Like she's not being like, no, we can't target Joe. Like she is like, yeah, I'm down to target Joe. Totally random thought. What if we targeted Caroline? Like, and is like good at like beating around the bush and like getting them to not do it. But like, I don't know. Hearing straight up from Jackson, who has pieced together things, and we'll get to that when we get to him, that Alex was the one to like spread that Chloe was the name. How is your reaction not to be at least a little bit skeptical of her? Crazy. This HOH reign, I think could make a top 10 list of like worst. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. But here's the good news for him. I think Caden's in more danger. So there's that. I'm lowering my score to a 4.
Me too. That's where I'm going. 4-4 Fletcher. Bad move.
Yeah, this wasn't it. This wasn't it.
But love Fletcher. But don't love Fletcher's game. Which is why I gave him a 4.
This is not fetch. This
What'd
is
you
not
say?
fetch.
What did you say?
I said this is not fetch. In the spirit of Mean Girls,
Oh,
not fetch.
sure. Isabel. Queen safe another week. This is her master plan. She's playing everyone. She's gonna get all her
Okay.
targets all in a row.
She's doing it real quietly. Um,
That's how good she is.
who's her next target? Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah, not likely that he goes to this next week, I don't think. Um, yeah, Isabel. Um, yeah. Yeah, Isabel is not providing a lot, which is the nice way of saying, girl, what you doing? Oh good, Stephen's camera's off. Um, and muted. Oh, is this an Isabel impression? It's really good if you're doing an Isabel impression.
It was.
Wow. We should do charades. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I like here are my thoughts. People have been trying to pull this girl into an alliance. They've been trying. Jackson has been like, we need Isabel in an alliance. Fletcher has been like, we need Isabel in an alliance. Even Caden has been like, okay, Isabel, sure. Like when people actively want you in an alliance and you still like can't get into it, crazy. Unfortunately. Um, what's bonkers to me,
Bonkers.
absolutely bonkers, is her name still isn't being brought up to be nominated. But at this point, it's like I was at a 5 for 2 weeks for that. And now we're like a little more in the nitty-gritty and we're still seeing nothing. Peace and love. Um,
Or
yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna lower my score, but it's just because it's like, I don't know. No, let me phrase that. I do know she's not doing well. It's just the game's passing her by. I think this is a case of like she doesn't fully realize what like the full thing is, and therefore like isn't talking to people as much as she might need to be. But then people are like, "Where is Isabel?" But then it's like I don't know, because like she's present for all the comp. Like she's not here, but she's just not
he's
here.
still in the HOH. Speaking of the HOH, this listen to this text that I just got. Caroline said, Caroline, the person who was nominated for 2 weeks, every week except for the week that she was HOH. She said, I'm afraid of falling asleep. This game is stressing out. Yeah, you better be afraid of falling asleep. You're still in the HOH competition and you have to win. But anyway,
Want to hear this text that I received today?
sure.
This text reads, I'm not sure really what I want to do. I want to do for sure to do what is best for my game.
Who was that from?
That was from Emily.
Yeah.
One more time. I'm not sure really what I want to do. I want to do for sure to do what is best for my game. What? Anyway,
But one of the higher scores this week.
that's courtesy of Jason, who one of my favorite people on this season.
But
But we'll get to Jason next.
Isabel 4. Isabel is kind of reminding me of Sophia a little bit. Lots of season 12 references today. Kind of reminding me of Sophia a little bit in the sense that I feel like she's like people she'll talk to people, but she doesn't get the picture. She doesn't get like the full
She's that likable, like, and like, here's what's funny. I could see her going as second juror,
yeah.
joining the ranks of Sophia Saratoria, Annie Merkins,
Annie Merkins, yes.
Amanda Shinney.
Annie Merkins was low key involved.
Um, but like low key.
But
Okay.
low key. Like more than Sophia was.
Yes, heard. Who are some other second jurors? Kalani.
I don't remember. Tess. That's another good example.
Tess was third, but sure.
Oh, Caroline was the second.
But another great
Yeah.
example.
Fun. I like doing this. Who was in season 6?
It was Shinny, but in this placement it was Kaylee. Two fine examples. Um,
Oh.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Jackson.
Wait, I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, fine. I'll be done.
No, by all means, please talk more about Isabel, who's provided us so much content to talk about.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like she doesn't see the full thing. Like that's
Are
what
you done now?
sorry. Well, I was talking about it when you interrupted me, and now I can't remember what I was gonna say. Okay, Jackson.
Jackson.
Oh, I was gonna say Isabel. I don't see her being like she's not being actively targeted, but I think she could be easily evicted just because like
She's
she
up there, and who
she's
cares?
not connected really. Like I think she could just be like a straight bullet hit you kind of. Sorry.
She's got to be brought into an alliance yesterday.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay, Jackson.
Jackson. Okay. I love someone that uses, everyone say it with me, basic logic.
Mm.
Give it up for logic, everybody.
Oh, my soundboard. Everyone, my soundboard.
Um, yes. Big, big points for using logic. Jackson, King, smart, logical, said, okay, let me look at the pattern. Faven saved Joe. Alex saved Joe. Alex, Faven, and Joe have all played BB Snap. So have Jason and Emily. Could there be a BB Snap group that is protecting each other based on the fact that two of them have just used the veto to save another one of them? Clearly. What I appreciate from Jackson is when he has thought about, he showed up at like the end of week 2 and was like, all right, time to form a power structure. And I was like, okay, now how that's going to work? There's already something existing. And he was like, great, we're going to do Fletcher and Alex and Isabel and call it a day. I'm like, great, that's going to fail miserably. Miserably. I'm glad that he took a second to like talk to Fletcher. He's talking to Fletcher. Great, we're talking. Fletcher likes some people. Oh, okay, maybe we'll bring in Caden. Okay, this is good. Oh, oh, I'm talking with Alex, and she somehow gotten all of the votes flipped. Um, and is a part of Big Brother Snap and is good at the game. Okay, maybe I don't trust her with so much info. I'm like, okay, brain, okay, logic, okay, yes. Here's the other thing that people are saying about Jackson. They're like, oh, Jackson's from New Zealand. That's so cool. We can't evict Jackson. And I'm like, yeah, totally. think I think it's like interesting. You know what I mean? It's like they don't evict the guy from New Zealand. Um, and I think it's working for him.
Yeah, I think this is like I think I'm starting to see where his like years of experience are coming into play. Because it's clear that the reason he's not doing as well right now is just because he hasn't had time or just like
Agreed.
just a lot of energy into the game for whatever reason. But you can see that when he's here, he's making like logically smart decisions.
Very clearly.
And I think that comes from just like doing this often for so long, which is exciting.
Yes. So for my score for Jackson this week, is he in a great position? No. But have more people talked about liking him? Yes. And has he used basic logic? Why, yes, he has. And those things are a big old recipe for moving your score up a whole point.
Three things, is that 3 points that you're moving him up for?
A 5 for Jackson from me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 5 too. Um, if for nothing else, like he's improving. Like he was a little inactive, but I think now you can see that he's putting more time into it, which I think is really good. And I think that people do like him, which is something that's going to be better than like some of these people who aren't as like well liked who are also inactive. So 5 for me.
Here's one other thing that I think is helping him. Um, Coming into this week, I feel like people like Alex and Joe and Faven and Jason and really that main group before were like, okay, Fletcher and Caden have said Jackson and Isabel they're pulling in. Jackson and Isabel cannot be trusted, need to take them out as well. And I think this week after the vote flip, Alex was like, it needs to be a split vote because they're going to be pushing for one thing and then we need to push for the other. We need to be hidden. It quickly became very apparent that Fletcher and Caden hold no influence. And all of a sudden, I think like Jackson is far less of a threat. She's like, oh, they don't control Jackson at all. I told him that I was voting out Chloe, and then he was like, oh, okay. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I think that's going to be helpful for him as well. I don't think he's going to be as tied to them, which I think is key.
Jason.
Jason. Still a big Jason fan. Big Jason fan. As a person, just very funny. Um, Very likable. What's interesting to me is I last week he definitely, in my opinion, wasn't the best spot in the game between balancing different alliances and whatnot. So talking to others. Maybe I just didn't like clock it as much, but like as soon as Fletcher won HOH, like Jason was in the mix of noms, and I was like, oh,
Mhm.
interesting. Um, and don't get me wrong, after about like 10 minutes was like out of the mix. So it wasn't like a long stint of like being considered to go up. Um, but it was there. In addition, Chloe left this week, and like, don't get me wrong, was Chloe providing a lot for Jason? No. But would it have been a number in Jason's favor should things have gone south? Yeah. So lost a number, and I think just overall wasn't as present this week as he was in week two, which again, not necessarily an intrinsically bad thing, but I do think he fell a little more to the background and allowed people like Alex to like pick up more steam, whereas he like took a step back or two. I'm going to be lowering my score this week to a 6, because I do still think he's in a very good spot, and he's another person that is very clearly playing logically with brain power and smart. Like he's not just folding in anything; he's thinking things through. He's got good allies. He knows how to talk to people, but definitely not as high on him as I was in week two. So it's going to be a 6 from me.
Yeah, I think that the fact that he was kind of in the mix in the beginning of the week and was quickly taken out of it kind of shows like this defense that he's set up for himself. Whereas he's not the most well known to everybody, but he's set up a good defense system of people that he can trust who will deflect his name out of the mix, which I think is great. But with that, I also think that comes with a risk as well. So I'm going down to a 6 as well. Um, I think that he wasn't as much in the mix this week as he was last week, in terms of what he was influencing. Um, but I do think he's going to be someone who we're going to see for a little bit. 6 for Jason. Yay. Okay. Joe.
Joe, I want to be giving Joe higher scores because he's clearly like a good player. I only have two major faults. One, constantly on the block. So that's one. Um,
No, that's mine. That's
which
fine.
is really unfortunate. Um, but two, I he said in his diary room today, obviously I cut Alex at the end.
No, Caroline, get out. So sad.
To which I'm like, okay, good, smart, nice. I think it needs to be sooner than the end. I think, and again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not giving Joe enough,
No, I agree.
but like all of the interactions that Alex and Joe have, which is definitely like they are the two most dangerous players in this game because no one knows how close they are, and they are just between the two of them running circles around everyone in terms of what they're able to influence. Alex is the one with all of the capital, and like in their conversations, it's crazy to me how like Joe will like pitch something and then Alex is like, no, that's the dumbest thing ever. And Joe's like, oh, okay, you're right. And I'm like, oh, okay. What if it was a good idea though, Joe? And when I see people like Faven, or even like, call me crazy, but like mainly Faven, but also Connor, but also Caroline, that are like reaching out to talk to him and actually trust him and like he'd be the one in the superior relationship. I don't understand why we're spilling everything. Like, I don't know. I just wish he wasn't spilling everything to Alex quite as much. I think he'd be in a better position.
Mhm.
But also, and now on the flip side, if those are the negatives, the positives is he's been like the main target 2 weeks in a row now. Both times have had the veto used on him. And I think if he was put to a vote, would not go home
Mhm.
because he has set himself up socially very, very well. People see him as a threat, but it's like, are you going to get rid of him compared to if he was on the block next to Chloe,
Yeah.
who no one talks to, versus Joe, who like
Yeah.
for a lot of people are like in their top two or three. Like he's doing a very good job socially. He was doing it week one before he absolutely flubbed it. And then he was able to bring it back. So socially, he's absolutely demolishing it out of the park. It's just positionally and what he does with information that I don't love fully. I was at a 5 for Joe last week. He was on the block again this week. But I just I don't know. I don't see him in a ton of danger. I certainly cannot raise my score. He's in too much of a precarious position. But call me crazy. I'm going to keep him at a 5.
Wait, hold on. Comp
Who's out?
Isabel.
Oh no.
So Caden, Emily, Jackson, Kayla, or probably it's got to be Caden. Unless he doesn't.
Damn. Has Kaden been first like every time? Yeah, I'm just expecting Kaden to win this.
Unless he like doesn't wake up tomorrow or something. But we got one more, and then we go to bed. One more at 2:30, I think, and then we can go to bed.
226, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, this is so unfair that Jackson is still in.
But he's not gonna win. He's gonna. He said he wanted to throw it.
Wah, wah. Anyway, I'm at a 5 for Joe. Maybe a little crazy, maybe a little high, but Joe's doing well, just not good. That's so weird to say.
That's funny because I was gonna say, despite him being up on the block this week, I was gonna go up to a 6. I think that, I think that he and Jason. I mean, if I'm giving Jason a 6, like Joe, I think absolutely deserves a 6 as well. Despite being on the block, like I think it's even a stronger showing of being on the block and having the veto used on you twice by two different people who are pretending like they want you out pretty much. Like that's crazy. Um, but him being continuously targeted is not very great for him right now. I'm going with a 6. I think it's well deserved.
Very nice.
And also, I think he's so funny too. I think he's probably my favorite funniest person here.
Joe's great. I absolutely love Joe.
Awesome. Kayla.
Um,
Kayla I love too, but like for different reasons. Like I feel like she's so mysterious, you know?
um, Kayla. Here's here's the really, 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 really unfortunate thing about Kayla. Or not about Kayla, for Kayla. The really unfortunate thing is this.
Kayla.
Um, she has arbitrarily been decided by Alex. When Alex needed a new target other than Joe, Alex was like, yeah, if you want to split up Joe, like you could split him up from his duo. He told me really stupidly that he's super close with Kayla.
Mm-hmm.
And Kayla and Fletcher were like, oh yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. But um this narrative has been created that Kayla super close with Joe. Luckily, like Fletcher like talked to Kayla. I was like, oh, so like have you talked to Joe? And Kayla was like, no, not really. Why? like again, if we were using logic, we could put this together. But we're not. We're not. We're living in Delulu land. We've joined Brady on opposite planet. Welcome. Um, so that's problem A for Kayla. Problem B for Kayla is the side that's being formed, maybe by Jackson very slowly, to include people that are like in the middle, who can we scrape up? Doesn't involve Kayla because they think she's with Joe and the Snap group. Literally, Jackson in his diary room like planned out the two sides and was like, here are the two sides. Side one, me, Fletcher, Caden, maybe a little bit of Emily, maybe a little bit of Isabel. Side two, Joe, Alex, Faven, Kayla. And I was like, oh no. So now on top of that, the BB Snap group is like, so yeah, the BB Snap group is using her as a scapegoat for them to target.
Mm-hmm.
The other side now wants to target her because she's with Joe. And then she doesn't talk to anyone. So that's just a little unfortunate for her. Unfortunately, wait, you ready?
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I give her 3. Um, um, the thing is, I've been at a 4 these last 2 weeks, and her position's somehow gotten worse to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if she went pre-jury. And I just don't think she's doing anything. Peace and love. Because I love Kayla. She's super on it. We love it. But I don't think she's doing anything to warrant higher than a 3. Like she's doing nothing and in a worse spot. That's why I'm at my 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down to a 3 as well. I think that I mean she just has not nobody, but like very few people that she can like really rely on and count on. Um, outside of like kind of Connor.
But even then, Connor has people that like he
Exactly.
trusts more than Kayla. He has Joe, he has Faven.
She's setting herself up for unsuccess, which is not good. For failure, as some people would say. Um, so I'm gonna go with her with a 3.
Here's the good thing about Kayla. She like knows she's out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like she'll be like be talking to people and they're like, "Have you heard the drama?" She's like, "No, literally no one tells me anything. I'm so out of it. Please bring me into an alliance." Like she's not unself-aware. We just haven't seen her do anything about it right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Yes. So Chloe.
One next. No, un, no, like truthfully, um, Chloe also icon, so fun, but landed on the block and just didn't put up a campaign, and the vote flipped very handily, and that's fine. But unfortunately, that just gets a 1, and that's not like a 1 is not like a, oh, we dislike you. Like you just went home after not campaigning, and the vote flipped against you, and your closest ally was on the block next to you, and you didn't talk to anyone.
Partially the sake of I like Chloe, I'm gonna give her a 2. I think I think that I feel like someone who was not for sure going home in my eyes, like definitely doesn't deserve a 1. Uh,
Agreed. I just think she was for sure going
un,
home.
under well, she wasn't for sure going home. The vote flipped, so she couldn't have not been for sure going home. There was
That's true, but the vote flipped in this way. Alex said, "We should vote out Chloe," and everyone was like, "Yeah,"
except
and that was the vote flip. Like,
it was planned to be Caroline going into it. So there was a point at which she wasn't going home. So are you yawning or about to say something? Oh,
that was Jan. Sorry,
oh, I thought you were like,
no.
um. So 2 for me, 1.5 for Chloe. Love you, Chloe, but I do also wish you did more and were here because I loved you. Okay. Oof. It's not pretty. Okay. Luke.
Luke, big Luke fan. Big Luke fan over here. This guy who's got 2 thumbs and is a big Luke fan. Me. Um, I'm a Luke fan for the following reasons. One, I've said it before. Logic. Love logic. Logic's good. Logic is always going to help you. another reason why I'm a Luke fan. He is very like tied to the Fletcher, Caden, Emily side, as in like they really trust him. He's also been talking really well with Alex, which I think, as we've been clear with the scores, is key in terms of like Alex liking you. He's been great at talking to her of like and like agreeing with a lot of the things that she's saying, while also noticing who's on the outs, who's not being talked to or talked about, making good connections with them, and being like, okay, it's clear to me that Alex holds a lot of power in this game. She said, be right back, and then came back and flipped the vote in a matter of like 10 minutes. Crazy. So, like, I don't know. He sees what's going on. He knows the position that he's in. He's on the bottom of the five, which I think is true. He's good with Alex, which I think is true, but he sees Alex as the player that she is. I think he's a good read on the game. Do
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's like the anywhere near like super powerful that he's going to be able to pull off a big move right now? No. He's not in a powerful position, but he's in like a smart, good read, good socially, etc., etc., to the point where I think he's going to make a deep run into the game. And I'm hoping that like if we let some more weeks go by and he's able to maintain this position, when there's a big rapture and they need to make a move, that's when he's able to be like, boom, go time. And we'll see. Obviously, it hasn't happened yet, but we'll see. But I'm getting the vibes that like he will be good. Um, I was at a 6 last week. I am staying at my 6. It is a green score, but nothing crazy or out of this world. I just think a
Yeah.
solid is how I would give Luke's score.
Yeah.
Solid, yay.
And I'm at a 5, so I'm gonna go up to a 6. Um, I think that for all the reasons, same reasons you said, I think he's sitting back a little bit while staying in contact, but still sitting back, kind of um like maintaining those good graces that he has, which I think is really important. Um, and again, like getting in with Alex too, because I think that a lot of people right now aren't, and that's why they are the ones that could very possibly be going next. So I think Luke's in a good spot. And 6, I also do really like Luke. I think Luke's a great guy and fun. So, oh, where is the thing? There it is. And surviving the curse of being the next alphabetically evicted.
Yes. Oh wow, but it was real close.
I was close to Chloe, yeah. So those are week 3 scores.
Alrighty.
Lots of down, but a little bit of up.
Yes, heading into week 4, Alex is our top scoring house guest. That is not shocking in the slightest, and it's really not even close. Um,
It's not shocking in the slightest, as if we didn't like give the scores.
I know, but like I yes, I understand that we determined the scores. Uh, Alex at an 8, Jason and Luke at 6s, with Joe at a 5.5 being the next highest. Down at the bottom, of course, it is Chloe. She went home. Not far behind is Kayla, who I think is the least connected person, followed by Caden, who I think is going to be the most targeted person. It'll be interesting to see if Caden wins his HOH. We're down to the final 5 currently. Steven, do you have any predictions for who's going to go home this week?
What did we say last week?
I don't know if we had a prediction for last week because we didn't know who. Who did we say? Oh, I think we said Caden.
I think we did. I think that was what we said. Um,
We said the prediction was Caden for this week. It was not.
well, I would have said Caden again, except he's probably going to win HOH.
Yeah, I
So,
was gonna say Caden's not my prediction this week, but only because of the fact that I think it'll be HOH.
um, but I like everyone else in the H. I'm glad Luke's still in. Kayla winning would be fun. Jackson and Emily. I don't want Emily to win again. But
Um,
yeah,
I'm trying to think what like mind games Alex will play on him. I'm thinking that the evicted person will be either Kayla or a little bit of a left field pick, Faven.
do you think Alex will want to get revenge?
I think possibly. I think maybe not her first choice, but I think if the opportunity presents itself, I think Caden's probably going to want to go after Joe. Maybe go after Caroline. I think Alex isn't going to have it. I think she's going to find a way to get Kayla on the block.
That would help if
And
brains were acquired by him,
yeah,
but they have not been.
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. I'm excited to see who's going to win HOH. I think it's going to be Caden. I don't want it to be Caden, really.
The only reason I do want it to be Caden is because it's like keep providing that drama of like unpredictable things happening. You know what I mean?
Sure. I don't know. I don't want it. Okay. Bye, everyone.